Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 3 of our flower series. Today we are going to be creating flowers for Halloween projects. And I love Halloween so much. I just want to make Halloween cards all the time. So these are going to be flowers that I am using my regular everyday flower dies for, but we're going to change them up by using untraditional colors like black and orange, and maybe even patterns, and create some really fun embellishments. And also this is demonstrating how I'm adding these flowers to the filler flowers that we made yesterday so that you can create a nice full arrangement for your cards. So these are the poinsettias, and I have also made some cute polka dot blooms here with a blingy center. So these are all different arrangements of the same flowers that we're making today, so you can see how very versatile they are, and you can use them for your cards and your tags and home decor layouts. So let's make these together. So the first flower we're going to create is the black poinsettia, which has the stamens in the middle, and then it is shaped with the tools to create a very full layered look. It may not be picking up so well on the camera, but it is very nice and dimensional. So what I've got again is the shaping mat and this tool. I'm starting with this die, and we covered yesterday that you can find many of these on Amazon now, so that would be your best resource to check those out. This one cuts 2 large, 2 medium, and 2 small. I like the look of them with the 2 large and the 2 medium, and then using the 2 smaller ones for a smaller flower. That way you can build a nice arrangement. So I did cut that from black cardstock, and this is solid core. I honestly don't know if you're going to be able to see me shaping these because my cutting mat, or my shaping mat, oh, that does show a little bit, is dark. So I'm just going to give that a cup on the leaf, and I'm going all the way around, and I want to do that to all of these flowers. Once again, this is a great project to do. It's like busy work. You don't really have to think about it. You're just using your die cutting machine and running a bunch of dies through, and then you can shape these. If you're watching a program, this is great for football night at our house or basketball. I live in the house of boys, so there always seems to be some kind of sport, and tennis too, which I don't not enjoy, but I do want to have a little something to keep me busy while I am watching it besides snacking. And this is a great thing to do in advance so that when you're ready to be creative, you will have lots of supplies on hand. So now that those are shaped, I'm just kind of bending up those petals so that I will have a flat bottom to add the glue to. I'm not going to use the Tombow Mono Multi today. I have tried out a different glue that I had in my stash that I received in a design team box from Bo Bunny, and it actually worked really well. I was pretty happy with it. PentArt Express glue. It did set up and act quite a bit like the Tombow, and so this is a little better value. I think the package is a little bit bigger. So just like we did in yesterday's video, we did the filler flowers. You do not want to glob a lot of glue on there, just enough to get it to stick, and that way you're not cleaning up a big mess. I'm using these flowers for my Halloween projects, and I love to have a big old pile of them ready because once I get working, I do not want to stop and wait for glue to dry. I'm gonna just do the 2 larger ones and the 2 medium-sized ones for this flower. And then I have prepared one already so that we don't have to wait. We can keep moving. So now you can see how that will look. I don't know, mostly my hands. When it's all stacked up. So you'd want to just set this aside for a few minutes to let it dry. It's express glue. It did really work pretty quickly. I was happy with it. And then what is left from that dye pass through was the smaller ones, and I just made them into smaller poinsettias. So that way I can have a scale that will work better in smaller arrangements or to fill in. So this one has already set up. And I'm gonna use my crocodile again, and I'm choosing the smaller side. It's not really difficult to work that in. Just be careful that you're not bending up your leaves. And I know you can't see this, but I'm really aiming as carefully as I can for the center because I know I have used that extra cardstock circle in the back. So I know that it will not tear through. It will be very secure. Now, these are the stamens. They come in a package and they look very nice and neat when they're all bundled up. But the second you open them, they are like all over and crazy. So just pick out, I should have picked these out before I started talking. Some of them are a little bit connected at the end. I don't want that. So I like 5 in each flower, and then it's doubled over. So you're really gonna get 10 tops. It's very easy to fold these in half and give them a good finger press so that you can get them small enough at the end, like lacing your shoe. You want to get that end small enough to fit through the hole, and you can pull it out. And I'm just gonna squish this down with my finger because I want them to be pretty close to the flower itself. That looks good to me. So when I flip it over, I'm holding this with my finger because I want it to stay taut to the flower. Then I'm just gonna clip those ends because I want to separate them. See, I've got another one of these dots. I've got 5 on each side now. I'm still holding it on the other side. And then I'm gonna do this so that I'm holding the tails away, and then I can add the glue. What this is gonna do is secure all those pieces in, sandwiched between the paper, and then you'll have a nice flat smooth surface to adhere to your project. This sets up really quickly, so I'm going to keep moving. I want to remove these tails now before I inadvertently glue it to something and then realize that they're still on there. I just think it would look weird if you had strings sticking out. So this is our first flower. It's the poinsettia. I think any die would work. You don't have to choose the one I'm using. And I think it would be very cool if you had even a bigger one, because then you could do more like home decor size flowers, and it would take less to fill a large space. So this is the larger of the 2 that we made, and then we have the smaller ones. And then I've used a few of them on these projects and different configurations. I'm using those filler flowers. Again, I made filler flowers with orange cardstock and orange prills, so same as we did yesterday, but I just switched out the cardstock and the prills to coordinate with holiday colors. And then using those filler flowers really kind of breaks up the darkness of all of that Halloween color. So this one I did on the top, and I'm using my leaf die to create the leaves, but instead of cutting that in green, I cut it in black, same as the cardstock for the flowers. And then I used stickles, that's midnight, on there around the leaves. Don't go crazy, just, you know, embellish it, not cover it. And then on each of the tips of the flowers, I added more of that glitter. I don't know how well that picks up on camera, but it does add a lot of detail. So this one's on the top, this one's on the side, and then I added a big giant bow behind them and tucked in a little bit of a twine bow. This one is a larger arrangement. I added more of the smaller poinsettias. So one big, and then more of the filler flowers here too. So it's sort of an L-shape arrangement. So now I just had room for a little bit of a smaller bow. And these are just some Halloween pattern papers and die cuts that I had in my stash. This is the same flowers used, but on a tag. So once you've got your flowers all made, adhere them to each other before you put them on your tags, because tags don't have a lot of real estate and you don't want to cover your focal image. This is just one of the printables from our shop. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So this is a very sweet vintagey Halloween image, and I cut it with a circle die, and then I put my flowers on top and added a bow and a little bit of twine. So we're gonna work on a second flower. It is a similar, I think, like the ones we made yesterday were filler flowers. They were all 5 petal flowers. This is the same. It just has a little bit of a wider petal at the top, and then they're quite a bit larger than the ones that we worked on yesterday. And so one thing you want to consider when you're using the larger petals too, I'm going to move to a bigger tool because I want that cup to be a nice deep dimension, and I think that will look nicer on the finished flower. So it will definitely have layers that pop up. Using that tool, I'm just really making a circle and pushing down in the middle. You can decide at this point, before you start shaping, if you're using pattern paper, and I think it really is cute to have the holiday pattern on the flower itself. It just looks a little bit extra festive. It's going to be not solid core. So you're going to have that edge. If that matters to you, you can use like, I have a good pit marker that I know is going to be permanent. That way, if the flowers wind up to be on something that I'm going to spray a glitter glue or some kind of, you know, mixed media on, I may not be thinking about that right now because I just made a tag. But if you're making these to put aside for use later, you don't know what you're going to use it on, and if you're going to do that, you want that to be a permanent marker. So archival and permanent will do the trick, and that way it won't be like a distress ink would run. If you got any kind of moisture, it would be reactive to that. So I'm going to stack these the same way, just using the circle that I punched with my 1/2-inch circle punch, and then stack them. You don't need to see me gluing these two because it's just the same as we did with the other flower. I have one prepared here, and it's just got a little bit smaller scale polka dot. This is going to be slightly different because we're going to continue to use the stamen, but we're going to finish it off a little bit differently. So pull 5 out of your mess here. I really love these. I put them in a clear container so that they don't get too mixed up, but they do tend to want to go all over the place, so you have to corral them some way. Now I've got 5 here, and then I'm going to bend them the same way, I should probably punch that hole first, right? I'm using the smaller hole side again because you don't want them to accidentally pull through. And then just very carefully get it to the center and punch that out. On the other one, we pulled the tails all the way through so that the stamens were tight against the flower. For this one, I do not want to do that. I want to leave a little bit of room on the top so that they're a little bit straggly looking. This is going to be hard to demonstrate without you just looking at my hands, but I'm going to try my best. You see now I've only got them in a portion of the way. They're still sticking up. I'm gonna bend them over to hold them in place because I don't want them to pull through anymore. And then clip those tails again so I can separate them. You could bend them all over at the same side, I think, but then it would create a weird bulk on one side. Now I've got these starting to separate, and I just want to work them around a little bit so that I know I can get them worked all the way around once it's glued. And then once more with that dot, just going to put it here and maybe not burn myself too much. I think next time I'm going to make some flowers, I'm going to make some orange poinsettias. I think that would be pretty cool. So now you can see they're kind of splayed out from the center. I'm going to take a large jewel bling. It's like the flat back kind. And like I mentioned yesterday, I just do not trust the adhesive to be reliable. So I'm putting just a little bit on the back of that. And then I'm going to squish it down in there and maybe work a little bit of those stamens around before it sets up. So now this is kind of got a more natural, I mean as natural as you can with a polka dot flower, but the stamens are kind of more free form and loose. For this demonstration, I'm going to just use this tag, similar to the other tag, but you see how that is really nice and full. It takes up a little bit more room. So I've worked a few of our filler flowers on here and then a couple more of those poinsettias. So this is just a super fun little tag that could be added to a gift or used as decoration for a holiday decor, or you could put, like, if you made someone a treat, maybe if you had a wrapped caramel apple, you could stick that around the stick, and that would be a nice label for whoever is the recipient of your tasty treat. So this is day 3 of our flower series, and we created some very awesome Halloween inspired flowers for your projects. I will leave links in the description below for day 1 and 2. And then don't forget to come back tomorrow for day 4. And then remember that the dies that I used are available at Amazon now. So that would be a quick way to get your hands on them so that you can make some flowers too. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a like, leave me a comment, and if you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe. As always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye.